Hello, everyone, and welcome to the X Button Podcast, Escape Gaming's podcast that posts every Friday from 10 a.m. onwards, God willing, available in the YouTube channel Escape Gaming, as well as most audio services around the world, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the like. You can find links and the RSS feed at tinyurl.com/escape gaming. If you enjoy our show, give us a like and subscribe. My name is Joseph LaRussa, everyone. You may notice that I am not Alejandro Segovia, but I do have my fellow co-host of the X Button podcast, Mr. Rick Davis here. How you doing, Rick?
I'm doing Joe. I'm doing Joe. I'm doing good, Joe. It's good to be here with you. We got the inmates running the asylum tonight, as you can all see. How about you, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, thanks. I appreciate you jumping in here. So, for our viewers and listeners, really quick, Alex was supposed to be here, and apparently his something related to flooding and apartments that he rents or something. I don't know. He's got some crazy stuff going on, so he's not able to make it here. And I have no idea beyond that. So I'm not going to try and speculate. I just know that he couldn't make it. He wanted to cancel on us, but I said no, we can't cancel. We have a loyal, dedicated fan base that's going to listen to our podcast this week. We are not skipping any weeks now that I'm the official co-host here. That is the promise I made to him when we started here. So you can expect holiday episodes and all the episodes you could normally expect people to skip. We're not skipping any here. So yeah, that's great. I appreciate everyone who listens here very much. And we are going to try and keep this as a tight show tonight. It's just the two of us. So I think we should be pretty good on doing that. And we'll take it from there. So, yeah, let's just jump right in. We've got a lot to talk about in a tight time window here. So, Rick, what have you been playing on me?
Nothing too much new. I mean, one thing, but some Kingdom Come, some Assassin's Creed. Nothing really
Hmm.
new to say there. But I've been playing some Doom, which is going to be one of our major topics here. Doom: The Dark Ages specifically,
Yeah.
which is going to be one of our major topics here. What with releasing this week. So I'll get some impressions of that in a little bit. It's probably not quite time for that yet, but and then on top of that, actually leading up to it, I was playing a bit of Doom Eternal because I remembered that I actually had not quite finished it.
Hmm.
Um, so I went back and got all the, for those who know what that means, finished up I think I had three Slayer gates to go, which a couple of those last ones were rough, man. Um, and I still haven't actually quite finished it, but I am at the end, and then I realized that actually I still have to play what are they called, the Ancient Gods or whatever it's called,
Yeah, yeah,
the
the Ancient
DLCs,
Gods,
which
part
I
one and
know
part two.
are very very difficult.
I've heard
Um,
that, yeah.
I heard they're harder than basically anything in the base game.
Hmm.
But all I can say is God bless Doom. Man, what a series.
Yeah, let's do it now. I'm not
Okay.
playing Doom, so we can just talk all Doom. I want to hear your full thoughts. I have only a couple little things to talk about for my playing, so let's dive into Doom right now. Actually, let's no reason to bury the lead here. So yeah, what do you think? What is different from Doom: The Dark Ages between that and Doom Eternal and Doom 2016? Are you liking it? Is it the I mean, from what I've heard, people seem to be loving it just as much as they loved the other ones. I have not heard a bad thing really said about it.
Yeah, I'm not quite on that level. I mean, it's definitely good. Like it's still in. I mean, it's still, top quality,
Yeah.
top end class shooting mechanics and all that stuff. And I will say the Slayer himself looks absolutely cool as hell in the Dark Ages. Like just
Hmm.
like when you're on the main screen and it's got him with he's got like a fur cloak on and he's got the shield and the flail, which I don't actually have the flail yet, but he just looks awesome. And I even said to Alex, like I hope they make like some kind of small statue or something like that because I'll 100% buy that. Um,
You by a statue? I never would have guessed, he
yeah,
says, looking at his background.
all the extra room that I have back there for it, right? Um, but I don't have any Doom collectibles at all, so it's probably time to fix that. Um, that said, I'm not entirely sure if I like the direction they went here.
So what's different? Tell me what's different between this one and Eternal.
It's very different actually.
Okay.
It's there's not much about it outside of the general design of the Slayer that actually even seems even remotely similar.
Interesting.
It's the game is built this time around predominantly your shield. Whether it's blocking, throwing it like Captain America, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but
Hmm.
you don't have the dashes that you have in Eternal, which you didn't have in 2016 either. But um, you don't have the glory kills, which has been a big point of contention with a lot of people. That doesn't really bother me that much. Um, It does retain the idea of like when an enemy is staggered, you finish with a melee and then it drops health points and stuff like that. Like that is still there, but you
Okay.
don't have the I forget what it's called, the thing on his shoulder that was like the flame belch or whatever. You don't have that anymore. They just kind of drop armor points and health points together,
Okay.
or ammo depending how it
So that's
goes.
More convenient to get your stuff
It's
rather than.
it's a more simplified version, yes, because
Yeah.
anybody that's played deep into Doom Eternal knows that that game gets very, very complicated. Like you are juggling a lot of things at one time in that game.
Hmm.
It's a brilliant game, but it is definitely not a newbie friendly game because there's a lot to be keeping track of. So if you're not good at shooters, you really will probably struggle with Eternal. Um, that said, one of the biggest criticisms that I've seen, at least so far, on Doom Eternal, something which I actually do kind of agree with, is even at the highest difficulty setting, it is not really that hard. And it's not. This is not a like elitist thing. It's more a one thing I've always liked about all the Dooms, at least the main ones, has always been their ability to kind of cater it to your experience. You can set it on easy, and it's most people can get through it. It's it's at that point pretty convenient for like a kid. Like when I was a kid, that was what I played it on, right?
Pretty
But
easy.
right. But if you wanted it to be like hard as nails, you can do that. And so far from what I've seen, Dark Ages is not quite that. Even setting it on Nightmare, which is the highest difficulty, there's extra variations of Nightmare to add like permadeath and stuff like that. But Nightmare
Hmm.
itself is technically the highest difficulty. And for those who have not seen, there are uh what do they call them? Like sliders to
Like
adjust down.
difficulty sliders.
No, not even difficulty. It adjusts individual components of
Oh.
the games, like enemy aggression is one, right? And the
Oh, cool.
I forget what it calls it. It calls it like the value of like a pickup or whatever is one, right? One of the other ones, which is funny that it's even there because it doesn't seem to make much of a difference to me, is your parry timing window because you can parry with the shield. That said, even when you turn it to the smallest parry window, the parry window in this is the largest I've ever seen in a game. Like, like if you ever accidentally parried something in the old Assassin's Creed games where they have a very wide window, that is a tighter window than what Doom Dark Ages seems to have.
Wow.
It's kind of wild. That's not a big deal. It's not like it ruins it. The problem is that the enemies, even on the highest aggression setting, I don't know what it is. They just don't seem to be that aggressive. Now that said, I am still relatively early in it. I believe there's 22 chapters. I am on the fifth, I think. I just got the very first weapon that they really showed off. It was that one that it has the skull that goes up and then it grinds it and shoots out the shards.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember
I forget
seeing
what it's
that.
that. I think it's just called like the skull.
The skull grinder.
That's it. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So I'm not passing judgment on it yet. Oh, another thing, actually, this does not have a dodge at all. I don't remember if I said that or not.
You
What it
didn't
does,
know. Okay.
oh,
So it's
okay, yeah,
just parries
it,
and blocking, I guess, with the shield blocking.
you can block, but the shield has a health bar, if you will. That it's not a health bar. It's more of a think of it more of as like a stagger bar. Like you can only block so much before you have to wait for it to recharge.
So it's like the Reinhardt shield in Overwatch, where like it has the health thing and it'll explode if it goes away and then it has to recharge.
I don't play Overwatch, so I actually don't
You
know.
never played Overwatch at all?
I played it for 2 minutes and didn't like it and
Oh,
stopped.
okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But I'll have to take your word for it that yeah, it's kind of like that, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it's got a health bar, and then when the health bar runs out, it has like a recharge time and has to like rebuild its health bar back
yeah,
up.
that's
And
that's about it then. Yeah.
okay,
That's probably pretty accurate. Um, what it does have in place of it's almost a combination of the super shotgun in Eternal had the like grappling hook on it, if you will. It's kind of a combination of that plus your dodge.
hmm.
When you are blocking, when you if you get within a certain range of an enemy, it'll say like lock on, and then you press the attack button, and you'll do the shield bash to
Hmm.
them, which obviously is an attack, but it also is used just as much as an ability to quickly move around and cover long distances and stuff like that. So that's kind of what it does, but you can't do like sideways dodges outside of simply strafing. You know what
So
I mean?
what's the movement like in this game? Because I remember I've never played any of these Doom games. They don't
Oh, okay.
particularly interest me, just so everyone understands that. But my understanding of 16 to Eternal was that Eternal you were like freaking Spider-Man
Th-
swinging
th-
around and
th-
moving like
that
crazy with your
that's actually
grappling hook.
that's probably undermining it. So if you were, let's say, a Corvette in 2016 and then you're a Ferrari in Eternal, right? You are blasting around at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'd put you somewhere in like maybe a really souped up Mustang or something like that. It's
I
probably
was gonna
not.
say a
It's
Mustang, a
yeah,
muscle
yeah,
car.
yeah. It's probably not quite as fast as 16, which
Hmm.
which was fast. But it also has been really overestimated how slow this is because it's still not slow.
Yeah.
If you compare it to Halo or any other shooters, it's still faster than most of them. It's
Okay.
just nowhere near as fast as Eternal, which is blazingly fast,
Yeah,
and
I heard.
it's not quite as fast as 2016.
I remember the marketing where it was like stand and fight as like
Mm.
a catchphrase, but then I heard online when I was looking at the discourse over the last week or so since the reviews, people were like, yeah, you can stand and fight, but like, nah, I'm just gonna you charge in, fight, use your shotgun, run around still. Like you don't
Yeah,
have to
that's
stand and fight. It
that
has the
that is
flexibility.
probably a better explanation than actually stand and fight. I think stand and fight probably didn't quite mean what they were trying to indicate it to mean because
Okay.
it's not a plant your feet and go at it from there. You are still moving around. You are still dashing around using your shield bash and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're just not you can't double jump. You can jump, but you cannot double jump, but you can
No
do
double jump. Oh man.
you can do it in 2016 and Eternal, but not this one. But you're not
It's the
like
shield. It weighs him down too much. He doesn't have
yes,
strong enough
yes.
legs.
Well, he technically does have both hands taken up at all times, which is why because the shield is one and every gun is held in his right hand. Um,
Okay.
so you still can what do they call it like camber up onto things, but it's not
Clamber.
done.
Clamber.
Yeah, thank you, clamber. Yes, but it's not done nearly as much as it is in Eternal, where it's literally like constant.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, in certain ways, it does feel more like old Doom in terms of the movement and in terms of facing a larger number of enemies.
Sorry, old
But it,
Doom like 2016 old Doom or
no,
old Doom
no,
like old
no,
Doom?
like old Doom, like
Okay.
not Doom 3. Doom 3 is its own animal. That's completely different. But like Doom and Doom 2,
Okay.
it's more like those in that front, except in the actual combat, it is nothing like any of them. Um,
Interesting. Again, never played any of I've never played any Doom of any sort, so
I would suggest you play the old ones because even to this day, those games are genuinely more fun than most shooters released today. That's how good they
interesting.
really are. I mean, they generally are timeless games.
Yeah.
Um, it definitely has good graphics. I mean, the id Tech engine is almost wizardry at this point.
Yeah. Always has
Like,
been.
like
Always has been.
except for whichever version Rage used. That was not a good iteration. I want to say that was 5. That was
I'm
not a
not
good.
I'm not going to blame that on the engine. I'm just going to blame that on the developers.
Well, that was id. Id was the developer.
They did they do the whole
Two
game?
was two was Avalanche. Id made the
Right.
first one. Yeah.
That's
And
right. I
actually,
played that Rage.
Rage 2, I don't even know if it used id Tech. That actually might have used something different. And even if it
I'll
did,
find out.
it looked okay. Rage 1 was the one that really it looked amazing at times and it had extremely muddy textures at others. Did you play the Wolfenstein games, the new
No, I'm
ones?
not.
Okay. In the original Wolfenstein, it had the very distinct look of that version of the id Tech engine where it would look great, but when you looked at certain like ground textures, it looked real muddy and weird.
It
But every
uses Avalanche's proprietary
okay,
Apex game engine instead of
that's what
id
I
Tech
thought.
is
Yeah,
what it
it,
says on Rage 2. Yeah.
it definitely did not look like an id game in terms of the
Yeah.
design. So
It's funny because I played the original Rage and I really didn't like it that much.
it
So
wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was probably the only shooter that id themselves have ever made that really wasn't that good.
yeah, that may be the only shooter it's ever made that I've played. Like I've never.
Oh my god, that actually hurts to hear, Joe.
I know. I've
It
just
are the
never
masters
had
of the
that.
genre.
I know, I know they are, but yeah, I know I definitely played Rage 1 on PC. I think I played it in like 2017 or something, so it was
Oh
already
wow,
a little
it
bit
was
old.
really old by then too. Yeah, because
I
it
mean, it's a
came out.
2011 game, so it's like
Is that
five or
okay?
6 years.
Okay, I should remember what year it came out. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't like it that much. I actually got so frustrated at one point playing that game that I had a regular like undershirt t-shirt on and I ripped a hole in my t-shirt as it was on me. I was so angry at something. I raged at that game.
You hulked out.
I did. I just like just grabbed my shirt and just like twisted it so tight. I was so angry. I don't even remember what it was that was making me angry at the time. It was dumb. It was bad. Sorry, go ahead. Keep
No.
Doom.
Yeah, I mean that mostly feels what I'd say. Our buddy Paul, the other rotating co-host, is having some pretty big issues with it right now. Now I'm playing it on Xbox. He's playing on PlayStation, but he had a bug where it crashed and then coming back in like nothing seems to be working right.
Yeah.
So he's almost probably gonna have to restart it. I guess he restarted it once already. I didn't know that, but he might have to restart it
I didn't know it
again.
either. I saw him say that in our chat.
Yeah. I had not seen him say that he restarted it, but he said
Mhm.
this would be the third time.
He probably said it to Alex in the back, in a private
Yeah,
chat or
maybe.
something. So while we were talking id Tech 5, Rage was the first real game made with that engine. Rage, it's actually Rage Mutant Bash TV, whatever that is. Uh,
That was an expansion for it, like a DLC, I think.
it came out before the game, so I'm not
Oh,
really
really?
sure what this is. Yeah, it's a
Oh, you know
tie-in.
what? Maybe that was like the mobile game.
It's an
There was
iOS game. Yeah, yeah,
okay,
it's
yeah, yeah. I
iOS.
see
Yeah.
there was some mobile game that came
Yeah,
out.
so Rage and Rage Mutant Bash TV are the first two id Tech things, and then it was a 3 year gap between something else which was Wolfenstein and the Evil Within, and then Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, and then Evil Within 2. Those were the games on id Tech 5. So it just seems like it was like a work the kinks out kind of game if it was that
Mm,
bad, That's my
mm.
guess. So
But yeah, I mean, Dark Ages is beautiful. Now, from what I've seen, it does have some issues on PlayStation that it does not have on Xbox, which is interesting because the Pro obviously is more powerful. But
yeah.
I guess it runs well. Actually, I know exactly. I think I can deduce exactly why based on what I've heard. Um, Alex said that when he got it from Digital Foundry, the PlayStation version, especially the Pro version, runs at a higher native resolution than the Xbox Series X version.
Makes sense.
And that's your issue right there because
Mm.
it doesn't use PSSR. So by not using the upscaler and using a higher resolution, it's more taxing on the CPU, which is
It's
not very much improved in the Pro. So that's why.
it's not using any sort of dynamic resolution scaling to like lower
I
the resolution as needed,
well,
because I know a lot of games do that
it
too.
may do that, but it definitely does not use the AI upscaler.
Mm.
So like by increasing
Yeah.
the resolution, it's more taxing on the
Oh yeah,
CPU.
for sure. Yeah, if you're gonna tax it more, but that's why I was thinking, a DRS would be effective at helping offload that. So it must. I would say if that is the cause, then I would say it must not have that sort of feature. It must be a
Mm,
locked resolution
mm,
because I remember back in the late PS4 era, like dynamic resolution scaling was all like they were talking about all the
mm.
time, and the Switch uses it a lot where it like scales down to like 260p
Yeah,
sometimes.
all you have to do is play Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition, and you can see the wide range of dynamic scaling where you have literal dust particles on your screen, or you have a graphical image.
Yeah, I will be playing that when I get the Switch too. That will be something I play because I have the digital version of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and I really want to play it, but I've never gotten
Well,
to it because,
you're talking about X, right? I'm talking about the original game.
no, the original.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've never played any of the Xenoblade Chronicles games or any Xeno games, so I have Definitive Edition on Switch. I got it digitally when it was on sale sometime, and I'm waiting to play it until I actually have a console that has a little bit of power behind it. I don't know how much it'll, I don't know how much impact it's going to have. Obviously, we don't know what sort of boosts games are going to get without any sort of official patch for it, but I'd rather at least play it on the hardware that's a little bit more powerful where there's a chance that it'll be better than on the stinky Switch. So,
Right.
okay, so it seems like you're enjoying Doom the Dark Ages, but it doesn't
With
seem
some
like you're
caveats.
loving it.
That's about right. Yes.
Okay, but
Yeah.
that's okay. You don't have to love every game. You don't
Well,
have to love every
I
game.
do have to love Doom, so I'm gonna try and force it.
I
But
mean, you are still early. 5 chapters. You're not
yeah,
even like a quarter of the way through at that point. So yeah,
yeah.
okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad that it's a fun game. And is there anything else you want to add on it before we move on? I don't have any more questions on it. I'm not super knowledgeable about Doom, so
Right.
I'm flying by the seat of my pants.
Not too much. The only other thing I will say is it is kind of clever how they obviously kind of a misnomer is them calling it the Dark Ages because obviously you're still using guns and it's still
You have a
still
shield.
like
That's Dark Ages.
it's the Dark Ages for Argent D'Nur, which is the world that you go to for this
Hmm.
trilogy, right?
Yeah.
It's their Dark Ages, not our Dark Ages, which is why you still have a shotgun and there's still laser rifles everywhere and all that stuff. It is still the distant future. Although actually, apparently, original Doom 1 apparently took place in 2022. Uh, it was like 30 years after when it actually was released. But I will say though, it is kind of clever how they managed to take many of the iconic Doom weaponry and kind of like degrade it, if you will. Um,
Make it Dark Ages like.
well, you make it more like um, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like a
Medieval.
not medieval really, but yeah, that's the idea. Like the BFG for example is called the, which stands for big friggin' gun.
Right.
Um, is the BFC in this? It's like the ballistic something crossbow. So
Oh, I thought it was gonna be big freaking cannon.
no. I only know this because when you look in the control settings, for whatever reason, even on Xbox, I guess it must support mouse and keyboard because it allows you to set a command to go straight to certain weapons, and that actually has its own control to
Oh,
go to.
cool.
That's how I saw what it was called.
That's
Uh,
funny.
but yeah,
Let me ask about the story in this game. Is it worth noting at all? Is there any reason to think about the story? I know it's
that
Doom.
it,
It's not the most story
that,
heavy game.
yeah. So actually, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal actually have a more deep lore than they're given credit for. Uh, I won't say it's the greatest lore, although Doom Eternal does actually lay into its story a lot, although it's mostly told through codex entries and stuff like that.
Hmm.
This one, they really, so this one's a prequel, obviously, being Doom,
Right.
Dark. Um, this one, they actually really did put a lot of effort into like the cutscenes and stuff like that. And there's like, you know who Deborah Wilson is?
Yeah.
Uh, she
Yeah, the
actually
actress.
plays, yeah, yep. She actually plays one of the like the commander or something like that
Of course
in
she
this.
does.
Although they did not make them look like her. Usually, when she plays a
Oh,
character,
okay.
it looks like
It
her.
looks just like her, yeah.
Like when I first heard, I'm like, that sounds like Deborah Wilson. I looked it up and it was her, because it looks nothing like her. But yeah, they make they actually make a pretty big like effort at the story.
Okay.
I'm not saying if it's good or not, but they did make a large effort at like high quality and detailed cutscenes and well animated and all that stuff.
Yeah, I saw someone complain online that they were like, I wish that Doom Eternal and Doom the Dark Ages were first person cutscenes like Doom 2016. Because apparently, like Doom 2016, the cutscenes are all as Doom Guy, and now you
Yeah, because
see Doom Guy.
it's all the Slayer is his official title.
Yeah.
The Doom Slayer. Yeah, it's all like him transitioning. And to be honest with you, I mean, there's still not so much in Dark Ages so far, but in Doom Eternal, there's a lot of cutscenes that do function that way. But
Okay.
there's also ones where he's like pulling something off the wall or whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. I'm glad that it's enjoyable. I hope that it gets better for you and that it lives up to the high expectations that Doom and id have set over the last 30 years or so for you. 35 years, whatever it's been. And do you have anything you wanted to add on KCD or Shadows?
Not really. Shadows has an update coming, I think, in 2 more weeks where they add the improved
Parkour stuff, yeah.
parkour and ejections and stuff like that. And then
Yeah.
KCD had its DLC release today, but I haven't messed with any of that. I haven't even loaded the game up yet, so nothing really to say there.
Okay, yeah, so I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's been my primary focus game so far still. Um, it's funny. I really like this game, and then it does something that makes me go, "Why did you do that, Ubisoft?" Like they just I love the combat in this game. It's so fun to fight in this game, and they did a really good job on the combat here, I think. Even fighting as Nalwe, I'm really glad that they fixed that stupid bug where when you had the gear that threw the kunai, it didn't assassinate because the auto assassinations with kunai were broken. That screwed me over so many times in my first like 20 hours of this game, and then they patched it, and it's been wonderful ever since. I've been very happy with that because now I put that ability on my gear, and now I'm just double assassinating people all the time. It's wonderful. So ever since that changed, I've been really, very happy for one. But I just Ubisoft posted this tweet a couple of days ago or last week sometime, and it was basically them asking what would you like to see us change or do in in the game, like as post-launch support. And it really made me realize, as well as a conversation I had with a coworker the other day, the things that they took out that irk me. I don't like that they got rid of the torch button. Those kofuns are really, really dark. You can't see anything. You need a torch when you're exploring them. I wish that we could climb anything. It's killing me that we can't climb anything because I'm running up a hill and I'm sliding down that hill. And then I move like 3 inches over and then I can run up the hill no problem. And that drives me crazy. I hate that the detecting enemies thing makes it really hard to find the daimyo when you're looking to clear out a castle. That's really annoying. And then here's one thing that they have really, really never fixed, and I don't understand why. You know how on the map they have those question marks that are like the indicators of the area?
Hmm.
they don't show all of them when you zoom out. You have to be the closest zoomed in level to see every question mark. So you have this giant map and you have to scan across it really close in order to make sure that you're not missing any question marks. Because if you go one layer out, some of the question marks disappear and you can't see them anymore. And that drives me crazy. And they've done this since like Origins. And I don't understand why they can't just let the question marks be there all the time. Stop that. And then one last thing was that I said that they should have the ability to remap the grab button because grab is basically equivalent to interact with or talk to. And as you know, I switch my assassinate to triangle. So I have anytime I need to grab somebody, I have to go in and switch the control back to like another button so that I can grab somebody, which I've only had to do like 3 or 4 times. But anyway, those are just these little things, these little changes that I wish that they had either not changed or that they would put back or just fix. And this game would be really amazing because I like the characters. I do wish it was one protagonist still. I do think that having two
Yeah,
protagonists is the
the more
error.
I play, the more I do agree that it would have been better off with just one.
Yeah, because like I want to play as Nawe because I like Nawe and it's her story and it's really cool. And I like combat as Yasuke too. And then he's got so many weapons and like you only can equip 2 weapons at a time. Like I haven't even touched
Yeah.
the Naginata. Like I've not even I've used it for the duel. Like you have a duel against someone. That's the only time I've ever used it.
Do what I did. That's why I did that. You make a
Yeah,
different
with the
loadout.
gear sets.
You
Yeah.
use a different gear set for each
Yeah.
season, partly because I'm brain broken, but also I was like, you know what, this actually it would be a
Yeah.
good way to make it so that I am getting
Hmm.
use out of because
Oh,
he has 5 weapon types: the katana, the
yeah.
naginata, the kanbo,
Yeah.
the bow, and the
Teppo.
teppo. Sorry.
Yeah, that does remind me. I do have to tell you one thing. When we were talking about this, and you said to make gear sets, and you said, "Oh, you just click the plus button, and you can
Mhm.
add a new gear set." No, you have
Oh,
to unlock.
you have to have the one thing first.
You
Yes,
have
that
to
is
have the
correct. Yeah,
gallery in the hideout first,
yeah.
which I did not have, and I was really
I, Uh,
confused.
I, I guess I assumed you had it because I thought that I think it actually suggests that'd be the first
It's
thing that you
it
make
was literally
anyway.
the last thing that I built.
Oh,
It was
really?
the last thing that I built, and I built like 3 of them because I needed to, finish up my upgrading my hideout, which I've done. I'm at like 54 hours in the game. I'm almost done clearing Wakasa,
Mhm.
and I've got I think 4 more areas after that still or something. It's huge. This map is huge, and that's another reason why it's really frustrating that you can't climb anything because it makes getting around the map. Oh, the fog of war. Why on God's green earth does the fog of war not go away when you use the viewpoint? You have to run past an area for it to clear a fog of
It,
war. So I have all of
it
these
hasn't in
big.
a while. It didn't do that in
It did in
Valhalla either.
Valhalla. It did Valhalla, but it did it in a certain radius. So there would
Oh
still be
yeah, yeah. It did in a
sections.
race. Yeah, you're right. That's correct.
There
Yeah.
was there would still be sections that didn't clear, but yeah, you have like this big circle that would clear. And I'm like, I have these mountains that I'm not going to run up and down these mountains to clear the fog of war, but I have to run up and down the mountains in case there's an exclamation point or a question mark up. It's
See,
stupid
I mean,
decisions.
I get where you're coming from. None of that bothers me because I don't have I don't have to finish every check mark in those.
Yeah, I know.
So it doesn't
I
bother
just
me at all.
I like to
I
because it serves as a good podcasting game to just sit and chill and listen. Anyway, I'm still really enjoying it. I really like the game. I don't know if I'm as high as like Hogue seemed to be when he was talking about it on Twitter. I might fall more into Alex's range in that eights if I was scoring it, but I still have a fair amount to go, and it depends on how the story is. But I like it. There are a lot of things that I really like about this game. It is not better than Assassin's Creed Odyssey, in my opinion.
Oh, I think it's Legion's better in
It is it
every
is
way.
it is miles upon miles better than Valhalla, but it doesn't I like Odyssey still. Odyssey's still my number 2 of the series. I like that journey that you go on, and I like Cassandra and that she is just everything. I don't need to worry about splitting between the two. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Shadows for now, just a little bit more context. And then the other thing I was playing, and if you have any questions, Rick, let me know. But uh, I've been playing Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon, and that is a I did the demo for that game. It's coming out full release on uh May 23rd, so it's a little over a week away. It'll be a week from the day that this goes live for everybody. And it is basically an extra dark fantasy version of Oblivion, but it's apparently zoned in a way that like Avowed had zones, so it's not one big map, it's like three different maps. So it's kind of as if Avowed actually had the typical Oblivion or even typical Obsidian interaction levels combined. And it's like extra, extra dark. Like half of the things I was looting were like brains from the dungeon that the prologue starts in. Um, it's an indie game. It's clearly an indie game. It's still in early access. It's going to its 1.0, like I said, in a little over a week from now, 8 days, 7 days from launch, from this going live. And it was really cool. I enjoyed playing it. I would like to cover it. I'm talking to the internal group at Season Gaming to see if we can get a code or if I can write a review if anyone's got planned coverage for it. I don't know where I'll place it. If we don't get a code, I'll probably play it and try it. But I liked it. I really liked the game. It it is again clearly an indie game, clearly a small team making it, but it's interesting because it's a game like this we don't get very often, and it's not like Oblivion Remaster where it's an old game that looks better. Like this is new. Like this is a new game with a new story and a new world and a new really pretty new team. Like the team that did this has done a couple other things, but like smaller games, nothing like this before.
Mm.
So yeah, that's Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. Any questions about it, Rick?
No, not really, because actually when you posted that you were playing the demo, which I didn't realize there was a demo, I did a quick YouTube search and I don't remember the guy's name unfortunately, so I can't give him credit, but somebody had done a early access review about 3 months ago when I believe it was 0.7 version had released, which
Uh-huh.
I guess at that time was the biggest update for it.
Yeah.
And he did stress that it was very, very janky and very,
Yeah.
very buggy. But he did say he liked it a lot. And actually, what surprised me was he said he really, really enjoyed the combat. He said it was really, really good,
Yeah,
which
I was
obviously is usually one of the weak points of those kind of games.
yeah, I was playing as a as like a spellcaster, so I was just like throwing a fireball and it's got a like a mana recharge system and all those things that you would normally hope is in one of those games and things, the way that Skyrim did it and now that Oblivion is out with with the remaster, it does it that way. So it was cool. I didn't really play that much with the melee stuff. I played a little bit with it. It felt like it had a bit of impact when you were hitting enemies. I was just so like terrified of like dying because I didn't know what I was doing. It's a new
Well,
game and
he also said it's very difficult. So
yeah, it was. I was taking hits. But the fun thing is it is janky. And so you can play with the jank. So for example, there's this enemy. There were these two like boss-like enemies that they actually I won't call it a cutscene, but they had like an intro scene where it like zoomed into them and they were like doing something gross or weird or whatever, and then it came back out to you. And one of them was in this room with a door, and it was like a cell. And so I opened the cell and I was throwing fireballs at him, and then I just closed the cell and he just wouldn't leave and he was just like walking up against the door. So I was letting my mana recharge, and then for whatever reason he'd like turn around and start walking back. So then I'd open the door and start throwing the fireballs again, and then I close the
well,
door on him.
that specifically was something that this guy called out. He said the AI is totally broken. That
It's
like
so bad.
they're like they'll be like almost like insanely aggressive, and then you will get to the point of where the AI.
The leash. They leash. Yep.
Right, right. And they will just stop and turn around and start walking away from you no matter what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's the
he did
leashing. I don't know
specifically
if
say
leashing
that.
is common outside of MMOs, but leashing is an MMO term for sure that you leash somebody. But yeah, that definitely happened. The other really hard guy, he was actually really tough, and he also could throw fireballs, so he was like hitting me with fireballs, and so I was like running away, throwing a fireball, running away, and then eventually, I got to this elevator that you can go down, and I got on the elevator and I threw fireballs at him, and then I just took the elevator down, and then I let my mana recharge, and then I took the elevator back up, and he was still there, and I threw it again, and then I took it back down, but he started walking away. So I had to wait for the elevator to go all the way down, come all the way up, and then run after him again, and then throw another fireball at him, and then kite him back into the elevator, and then finish him
Mhm.
off. It clearly has some jank to it. I mean, again, this is I guess I think this demo is in like the point 0.9 patch, so it's not the
Okay.
1.0. I didn't have to pay for it. It's a good 90 minutes or so I spent playing the game. So it's not a huge demo, but it's a healthy demo.
Mm,
Uh, and I enjoyed playing it. I was like, this is actually kind of cool. It's not something I'm in the mood for right now because I just spent somewhere between 119 and 184 hours in KCD 2, which was a computer game, and this was in early access on Steam that I was playing it. So I would not want to play it at the moment, but I am definitely interested. And it's only $45, so it is not a full price game for anyone who is interested. And the demo is available. If you're interested in it at all, Rick, it's worth checking out the demo just to
Yeah.
like see for like the 90 minutes it takes to do it. Like, if you're just at home one day and you're just like, oh, I gotta go to bed in an hour. Oh, I can just play that demo really quick. Because like
Mm.
that 90 minutes was me like going everywhere and lockpicking everything and opening all the doors. Like I was trying to do everything that I could in that demo. So yeah, I recommend people at least check it out and give it a go. Apparently, the company that's publishing it is also primarily like a board game publisher. Like this is based off of a board game originally. Tainted Grail is originally a
That's
board game,
interesting.
and there's another game in the series of Tainted Grail, and it's like a card game. It's like a card-based action game, a video game, like a card-based kind of like Midnight Suns was the Marvel's Midnight Suns, something like that is from what I could tell. I just looked at the trailer for it. I wasn't 100% sure, but yeah, that's very close to what that looked like. So yeah, this is smaller team, newer team, and I think that it's worth checking out for anyone who is even slightly interested in seeing somebody else try to do the Bethesda style thing. Because I mean, let's be honest, a lot of people love Bethesda style games, and not a lot of people make
Mhm.
them. That is not, I mean, it's a hard thing to do.
The last truly successful person group to try it was Warhorse Studios when
Yeah.
they released KCD1 in, was it 2016, something like that?
It's 2018.
2018, okay. Yeah. Outside of that, most places that try the open world Western RPG, like they'll usually have ideas that people like. Something that comes to mind is, have you ever heard of the game called, I believe it's called Outward?
No.
Outward's uh shtick, if you will, is that it is intentionally unforgiving as all hell. And by that I don't just mean difficult. I mean it like you can get like diseases and stuff like that. And like uh when you are wandering around, like you have like your backpack on and stuff like that, when you go into combat, like it actually suggests that you drop your backpack because otherwise it's like it's hindering your movement. It's a cool idea, but man, everything around it is not so great. But you know, something
Yeah.
like that, it's like you'd like to see a studio like that kind of get the
Yeah.
like more AAA ability, you know?
Yeah, they definitely have something here. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad or broken or work well, but they have an idea, and I think that it's a good idea to at least give it a shot. And whether or not I review it, whether or not we get a code, I will play this game and check it out at some point, and I will try to do that this year when I'm in the mood for a game that's like that again, because it's worth. I think it was worth it, at least showing a little bit of support and giving it a shot and giving it a little attention. I hadn't really heard too much. I'd heard like two mentions of this elsewhere. Like I'd almost heard nothing about it. So I'd wished Alex was gonna be here this week because he's always making fun of me for not playing other games. And I'm like, I have this new thing that I actually, gave a shot to, and he's not here. So oh well. But yeah, that's it for what we've been playing. So very, very cool there. All right, Rick, let's jump down into our headlines here. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
All right. This is our first headline, and this is breaking just from a couple hours ago. The Jade has cracked. Jade Raymond, founder of PlayStation's Haven Studios, studio behind the upcoming Fair Games, which is that live service action heist kind of shooter from PlayStation, has departed from the studio. No reason was given for her departure, but it marks the latest in a long line of departures for Ms. Raymond, most well known for her producer work on Assassin's Creed, who hasn't actually released a game since she served as the SVP General Group Manager of EA Motive during the release of Star Wars Battlefront 2 in 2017. And as far as anything she's actually had real involvement in years before that, really since her time at Ubisoft. So, uh, Rick, is Fair Games dead?
Here's hoping. I think it was a dumb idea in the first place, and it would just be yet another of the never-ending pile of Jim Ryan failures. So why not add one more to the pile, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, I we talked a lot about Assassin's Creed just this
Hmm.
episode. We talk a lot about it in general. We're all pretty big fans of Assassin's Creed on this podcast. I think Paul likes Assassin's Creed. I know Alex does. I think Paul
He
does.
likes Shadows. Yeah, he likes Shadows.
Yeah, so we're big Assassin's Creed fans. I have major respect for Jade Raymond, and everything that she's done, and I just wish that she'd actually get to do more work. I wish that I don't know what her or her team were thinking to do this live service game. I mean, I know it was the bandwagon to jump on for everyone, but I don't know. It's sad. Like I feel sad now that she's not going to be releasing a game maybe ever again at this point.
I don't know who would hire her now. I mean, it's clear she can't finish a project. So
Yeah, I mean let's be honest, Rick. She founded that studio and Sony bought them. She's
yeah.
good.
Oh, she's fine money wise. I'm just saying, if she was to decide she wanted to work on another one, unless she starts the team herself from the ground up
Again.
and then self publishes, I don't know who would hire her at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we do have Phil Harrison still in the games industry somehow, so,
That's true.
failing upward is a thing here.
Very
Yeah.
very much so. Yes. I mean,
Yeah, I'm with you. Uh the king is dead, long live the king kind of thing. Like hopefully we're done. Hopefully we can move on from this era of live service where that was the king and have a new king of good ideas and fun games.
that people actually want. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that Marathon is probably dead. I know that people are like it's Bungie, but Bungie's got a huge fan base. Yeah, okay, but I don't think it's gonna work. I mean, maybe Bungie proves us wrong, but I don't see Marathon working either, honestly. Like
Almost everybody I've seen that's compared the major uh, extraction shooters that are now coming to console, almost every one of them said that Marathon is by far the one that needs the most work still. So they really do need to delay that, and I'll bet you they don't because they're going to be afraid of the big gorilla in May next year. So
yeah, but there's a lot of daylight between September
oh yeah,
and May.
sure,
You know,
they
have you
could
heard
release it
of
in like
January,
January and be
everybody?
fine. Yeah,
It's like, have you heard of January? Resident Evil loves January, and they do really
yep,
well. Come on, it's
yep.
not it's not 1999 or even like 2006 now. You can release games in January, and they're gonna do fine. So
Mhm.
yeah, Bungie's got to give the time they need. It's a shame about Fair Games because conceptually, the concept of this world is kind of interesting from what we've heard, stealing from rich people and all that. Like, that's a kind of interesting idea. I just don't really want to do that in a multiplayer shooter setting.
Well, that's exactly it. If you would have taken that same idea and done it in some kind of single player game, that actually probably could have worked. But by doing it as I don't know, I believe the rumor is this was something like a Payday style game almost.
Yeah,
I don't think there's much there. I really don't.
I don't either. Did you see I don't remember where it was on Twitter or Facebook or something, but did you see this screenshot? It was a reply to something that Payday Three's Twitter said, where they were like, "Hey everyone, sorry we had some downtime or maintenance or something. It's it'll be back up. It's everything's fixed now or whatever." And then someone replied to that post with a screenshot of the Steam numbers, and it was like and they were like, bro, you could just send DMs to these people because it was like 300 people in the last
Yeah,
24 hours.
yeah, yeah. That game is dead.
It is
They
dead, and that
destroyed
that
that.
really sucks. Did you ever play Payday? Did you play the
I,
Payday series?
I did not, although I do know Payday 3 was made by somebody different.
Yeah,
Um,
I played Payday 1 a little bit, but I played a lot of Payday 2. I put like nearly 100 hours into Payday 2 with my friends. Like I had a whole friend group. We'd play it over years. We would play Payday 2. I've got a lot of money invested in that game, for that sort of thing. Oh, what is this? We have a surprise.
uh-oh.
We have a surprise guest joining us.
Uh-oh.
It's Freddie Segovia, and he doesn't have a mic on or a camera. I don't know why he joined us. There
Yep.
he is.
He survived the floods.
The man, the
Yes.
myth, the legend.
How y'all guys doing?
Good. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm hanging by a thread.
I'll say probably been better, right?
Yes.
You don't have to be here, man. We got this covered.
I would
You're
love
good.
to win as your first hosting job. So
Oh, well, you'll see it because you're going to be editing and stitching it together.
that's why. So it will give me at least a better idea. So
Fair enough.
What are we chatting about right now?
We're just going through the
Payday.
headlines. We were just saying RIP to Fair Games potentially and
Oh,
Sayonara
yeah.
Jade Raymond.
Oh, yes. I kind of wanted to, I was hoping I was going to jump in right at this point because I wanted to hear Rick go off.
Yeah, I
Oh, he
didn't get a
did.
chance. I didn't get a chance to talk about Jim Ryan too much, but
Mm.
That's true, but he did make a joke.
I made a joke about it. Yes, but
We were actually talking Payday. We were talking about Payday
Right.
2 because no, it's another like Payday 3 is a dead game, and I was saying how much
Yes.
time I'd put into Payday 2 and enjoyed Payday 2. So
I reviewed Payday 3. So
yeah, was it good? I never even played it because I just heard it was like not worth buying.
the version I played before it launched was what it is right now. No.
well,
Hmm.
I mean, and obviously you played on I assume closed servers for review.
Mhm.
The big problem was for 3 months after it launched, the servers were completely busted. People couldn't
Yeah.
even play the game.
Yes.
Well, do you have
Well,
anything you want to add on the Jade Raymond topic, Alex, before we move into the next one here?
PlayStation first party is doing good, right, Rick?
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
what-
their one game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, just
Oh boy. Well, Ghosts of Yote comes out soon. That's exciting. I'm
That-
excited for that.
yes.
That'll be good. And I mean, actually, even though most people don't count it, I actually am pretty happy with the remaster of Days Gone. They actually did more work on that than I think. Hey, well, what's weird, and that was their own fault. The way that they advertised it when they showed it is they showed all cutscenes. Everyone's like, well, it looks exactly the same. If they'd have showed the actual game, it really does look quite a bit better.
Yes.
Like I don't know why they advertised it like they did. And actually, they also didn't really show that. What's it called? The horde mode in it. What do they call it?
It
Horde
doesn't
Assault.
really
Is that it?
Yeah, Horde Assault.
Okay. They didn't even show that. They just announced it. And actually, that's a pretty major addition. Like that's actually really well done. They should have emphasized that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Will we even have a state of play? I know there are some people that are kind of like showing a little bit of concerns that is like it's very late in May for not even like the usual suspects to even give a rumbling that it may even be happening because they've been showing a lot of individually Death Stranding and Ghost of Yote. That's technically the two games. They're big games for this year. So it's like
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's first party, but I think Sony has the marketing for Metal Gear, don't they? So I think we'll probably see something for that. Yeah, I think
They
we'll see
have
something for that.
I don't know, do they? Because I'm pretty sure that they had a trailer at a Microsoft show at
yes,
one point
they're
too.
they're playing both sides.
Is that what it
Yeah.
is? Okay, because Sony got the announcement, if you remember.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, kind of like how slightly like the clear obscure thing that obviously Xbox revealed it. They showcased it in the
Yeah.
in the event, but also every marketing beat outside of them had like PlayStation logos. They were doing like big descriptions in the PlayStation blog and all that.
Yep.
So it was like, oh, they're playing
Yeah.
both sides. I think most people like to play both sides, and
If they
Xbox
can,
basically
yeah,
giving-
more money.
and beyond that, I mean, Konami has to know that the majority of their sales are going to be on PlayStation. Like the vast
Majority of all
majority.
sales are on
Yes.
PlayStation.
This is true. Well, actually,
Literally.
plus, I don't remember. Is it in Game Pass? Which is stupid if it is.
No, I don't think
Okay,
so.
okay. So whether it is or not, like Metal Gear's fan base is largely on PlayStation and always has been. So they
feels
have
right
to.
playing.
They have. You're right. They have to know that's where they have to.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
put their.
And it was in the list of the PS5 Pro enhanced games that when they did that kind of like montage of the PS5 Pro and the state of play from last September, it was there. So it was like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Moving
Alex,
on.
before we go on to the next one, I just want to tell you, listen to my talk on Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon, and check out the demo. It's really cool.
Yes,
Well worth
I saw
checking
the
out.
trailer. I saw the trailer that they share over at our staff chat.
Yeah,
for
in
upcoming
SG,
games that you
yeah.
asked. I saw. I was like, you're right. That looks like that's straight up Oblivion.
It is for sure. It's like darker. Like I was saying to Rick, like the first like everything, the first few things I picked up were like brains. Like it's yeah,
Amazing.
dark.
That's awesome.
Okay. All right. Next up, in an effort to beat the Guinness Book of World Records of longest time between game launches for an individual developer still working on games, Amy Hennig and Skydance Games have delayed the release of Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra out of this year and into quote-unquote early 2026. I don't have a lot to say on this other than I really don't know if I'm interested or not in this because all we saw was something that looked kind of cool as a tech demo and some interesting voice acting, but I don't know what the game is. I don't like the Uncharted games that much. They're good, but they're not great. And Amy Hennig is Uncharted. Like they are one and the same. So I'm curious what she
Don't
whether she
forget to
makes
add
it into
I
I'm
am
more interested in.
Joe, you behaved the entire time until Alex got here. Now you gotta throw that kind
I'll
of
say this: like
out.
you're entitled to an IMO when it comes to Uncharted, but
But that's my point. Is like I'm just
yeah.
curious if this game that Amy Hennig is working on is going to be something that I really, really am interested in. When I typically have not been super interested in her other games so far. I've never played Kane and Lynch. So.
I was about to say, if I had to guess, not Kane and Lynch, Legacy of Kane.
Legacy of Kane. Sorry.
I was going to say I think it would be much more like those actually than like Uncharted.
Good.
Because Legacy of Kane obviously is much more serious. Which I mean, this will probably have a little bit.
The writing in Legacy of Kane is excellent for a game of that era. Yes.
But it also it's much darker, which I don't know if that'll qualify here. But it also would be a game that I could see something dealing with a Captain America and if I remember correctly, a young or rather the first Black Panther.
The old Black Panther. Yeah.
So it's T'Chaka or whatever his name.
Yeah, T'Chaka, not T'Challa. T'Chaka.
Right. That fits more in line with kind of the way that I think Legacy of Kane, well, specifically Soul Reaver, would have functioned than something like Uncharted. So that's probably a more apt comparison there.
Yeah. When they revealed the game, they had kind of like a conversation with Amy Hennig, kind of what they're trying to go for this. She said that this is gonna be like in line of the kind of single player game that she does, where it's a single player game where you have your AI companions that aid you, like in
Uncharted,
Universal, and all that. That's kind of like in the Uncharted mode, but obviously this is gonna be like set in 1943 France. I think it's what they call for World
I think
War
so, yeah.
II. So we still haven't seen the gameplay other than that. What you mentioned, Joe, the tech demo, kind of like the tech that, to be fair, was one of the more impressive kind of like facial capture tech from Unreal Engine 5 that they showcased at GDC one time.
Wasn't it just a CG trailer? Am I remember?
It was supposed to be in it was like kind of like in game like which you can believe everything is in game or CG at this point, like everything's bled. But it is so funny because at the LSM Discord we were kind of like having like a conversation who's worse, Amy Hennig or Jade Raymond, like in the bad luck department.
Yeah.
And my thing is that in comparison, like let's say like the track record of Amy Hennig at this point, it's still relatively spotless. She hasn't released a bad game, but I can't imagine anyone of her pedigree having a worse luck.
I mean, Jade Raymond too, though. Like Jade Raymond doesn't have any really bad games in her record.
But it's kind of like the record. It includes a few dots there, including overseeing motive for Star Wars Battlefront 2's initial launch. That was not good.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the overseeing as a studio head is way different than overseeing the actual project development. I think because we talked about this before you jumped in. She was SVP General Group Manager, so she was like the studio boss. That's like blaming Aaron Flynn for
it's the
something
operations
that BioWare
manager.
did,
Exactly. It's like the operations manager instead of the director.
I think the last time she had something produced under her name was the original Watch Dogs in 2014, and that wasn't. It was kind of seen as a disappointment for the.
I love that game actually.
I enjoyed it. I have the hat. I have the iconic hat.
That's it. It's a good game. It's just kind of like if you remember when it was revealed in 2012, it was like that was the next gen game.
Yeah, that was the teaser.
Yeah.
Well, that being said, though, when that came out, that did look a lot better than most other things available. It did not look like that original trailer. That is accurate. But when it came out, it still did look pretty damn good.
Yeah.
It did.
Chicago at night looked beautiful, even on base PS4. It was just during daylight that it looked very jaggy because it was like 900p and something like that.
Yeah.
But it was just more kind of like it was the that era of Ubisoft of the initial demo then was like the bullshot era. That it was like the initial reveal looked prettier than the actual game, and that was very common for them until like Origins. Origins was the first time that the game they revealed is exactly the game that we got.
And I think they even specifically said, because what was the game before Origins? Was it Far Cry 5 maybe?
No. Before Origins for them, it was actual Watch Dogs 2 would be the last Ubisoft game, big Ubisoft game.
Oh, okay. Because I remember before Origins, I remember they said like we are not doing that anymore. We are definitively only showing undoctored screenshots.
Yeah, Watch Dogs 2 was 16. Far Cry 4 was 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 15 was Syndicate.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on, but I would say like 15 years for Amy Hennig's, like especially for someone that has not made a bad game for herself, she's been like fucked left and right. Anyway, like she couldn't manage a project that took her resources away in Naughty Dog. That's kind of like why she was ousted from Naughty Dog from Uncharted 4 because they took her resources because they needed to finish The Last of Us. And when that project was finished and it came back to her, it was like she couldn't handle like the pressure of having to retake that project and the speed that they needed that game done, which was quick. So,
Yeah.
and that she got ousted. And then when she was over at Visceral, she fell victim to EA suddenly deciding we're not going to do single player stuff because we need that FIFA Ultimate money.
Visceral had already begun to kind of fall apart of the cracks before that point, so that probably was not the right move for her.
Yeah,
but they obviously were going to make a game or they were okay with making the kind of game she wanted to make. But as much as EA got hate for that, and I'm not saying they didn't deserve some, the cracks were already there. Like that was not 100% on EA just closing them. Like they were. Dead Space 3, you could see, even though actually I'm a Dead Space 3 defender.
It's fun. I like it.
It's a good game with actually a really good story that unfortunately had forced co-op. You take out the forced co-op and it actually would have been very good. But nevertheless, you could see that was a game where there was clearly some headbutting on development decisions there.
Yeah, it was more like because the already Visceral was hanging by a thread. The change in philosophy over the studio made Visceral an easy one to kind of can, because it was like, okay, if the Pride had been in better shape like than it was, like it would have probably survived like that EA pivot in 2017 where like we really just want this big FIFA Ultimate like live service money and we're gonna get that from Battlefront and all that. And Jedi Fallen Order in 2019 changed them to attempt single player stuff at least briefly. So it's like a victim of circumstance. And then she hasn't put out. It took her like 3 years to get to Skydance to start projects, but it's like, man, it's like her last game was Uncharted 3. That's wild. It's just wild to think like
2011.
Yes, and
it's all right.
I just hope
it's all good.
Yeah, I just hope it's good. Like, because if they
we all do. I mean, we all want good games. Period. I mean, whether as much as we want it for Amy, we also just want good games.
Yeah. And I feel Marvel could use good games outside Insomniac too. So like
Midnight Suns is good. Midnight Suns is a very good game. I very much enjoyed that.
But that's the thing, they don't do many Marvel games outside Insomniac nowadays.
Well, that's because they want so much money for the license fee. But all right, next up, Square Enix announced a new partnership to develop an original IP game with TBS. No, not Always Funny TBS, but Tokyo Broadcasting Systems, most well known for being the originator of Sasuke, or Ninja Warrior as it's known elsewhere. There's not much to say for me on this. I don't think you guys have much to say either. I just wanted to really make that Always Funny TBS joke.
Just make the Final Fantasy VII project.
Yeah, that too. But I
just finish that.
I just wanted to make the TBS joke, so I'm good.
And announce the 9 remake already. Damn it.
That would be cool.
We know it's happening.
It's time to announce it.
Yeah. So next up from there, Star Wars Outlaws has been updated to version 1.6 today. This will be yesterday for people when they listen, adding the ability to holster your long weapon and swap between that and the blaster. Finally. As well as the ability to free aim on speeders. Finally. Additionally, Stalker 2 has had update 1.4 released, adding a bunch of A-life features and more advanced mutant AI, plus more in-depth combat with human enemies. Now, I have not played Stalker 2, so I know the A-life system. I have heard that discussed enough, so I understand that adding features to it is cool, but I see Alex has things to say on it, so let's toss it to him.
Yes, I tried version 1.6 today. It actually felt really nice loading an early save when you kind of have to infiltrate a Pike syndicate. I went to get a sniper, and I sniped there, and I climbed high. I was able to pull it off and shoot everyone. And I'm like, why wasn't this in the game?
It really, I played it a little bit myself, and it does make a huge difference being able to just pull out the gun you want now. Like,
who'da thunk?
Yes. and the nice thing is, and this is kind of overlooked by, because it's a small detail to it, but even after the last update, whatever number that, 1.4,
1.5.
Okay, 1.5, okay. When you could carry your weapon better, right? The long weapon, you still would drop it.
Yes.
Whenever you went into or reloading a save or whatever, it does not do that anymore. You can actually carry that weapon into settlements, some of that, and she'll just holster it. She'll put it on her butt, and but like she won't just drop it now. And when you load a save, she'll still have that weapon. So it's like this is what that always should have been, because now it kind of feels like that third-person shooter
Mhm.
you know, light cover based open world shooter that I kind of wanted Outlaws to be. So I'm actually pretty excited. This does do a good job of kind of turning it. The only thing it's missing now that I really want it to have, and I'm sure we'll never get. I wish you could use other speeders than just your own.
Yes, yes, I would agree
Even
with
if
that.
you can't keep them, I
Grand
wish
Theft
you could.
Star Wars.
Like,
Yes,
I mean, come on,
yes.
who doesn't want to use the damn stormtrooper speeders because they're so much cooler than yours?
And there's so
And
many of them. That's
there
what's so
are, and,
fun.
and
You feel like
I really like the ones that people use where they're like almost like hot rod ones where they're like sitting way back. Like I'm like, I want to
Yeah.
use that. I don't
Mhm.
want to use this dumb little one all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
little bike
The
things.
biggest
Yeah.
tragedy of Outlaws is that the true Outlaw fantasy would have been that the GTA like style. Despite the fact this game already has that GTA style, like you have like alert systems and
Right, the
you
wanted
get
system, and
you
yeah.
get arrested and get credits taken off of you, which you can go hack
Mhm.
out like if you're smart enough. That is
I've
like
done that. I
in
did
the
that a
Outlaw.
few times. Yeah.
Yes, in the outlaw, like being an outlaw means like you're gonna pick up anything that's there for you and just run away. So it's like it's
Just
wild
grab
that
rocks
it's not
and
there.
throw them.
Yeah.
It's like they went so close to exactly what this game needed to be exactly what everyone wanted, and they came up just short in so many areas.
They Ubisofted it. They
Yes.
Ubisofted it.
Well, I'm not
they-
even counting it releasing unfinished. Like taking that out of
Well,
the
no. I mean, they Ubisofted it as in they gave you this gorgeous baseline, but they just, and as much, again, I love Ubisoft. I love Assassin's Creed, but there's always that veil
Underbaked.
of
Underbaked.
not even not even underbaked. There's always that veil of interactivity where it's never quite as interactive as you
Yeah.
should be with things. Like I should be able to walk up to that person and talk to them or do something, but no, it's that veil. Or I should be able to enter that building, but you can't because it's just it has that, it's that staging. It's a stage. It's a stage play. Ubisoft is a stage play.
It's yeah, that's a good way to put it. Or
It's set dressing. It's very elaborate.
they're puppets instead of a living world or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah,
But
it's
that's,
like,
I mean, that's okay because it's hard to build that. And that's,
Yeah.
like with Tainted Grail, like they're trying to build that living world from what I can tell. And they seem to be doing okay at it actually from the 2 hours or 90 minutes that I played of it. And the way that Bethesda and Obsidian do, it's set dressing. People had that complaint about Avowed that it's set dressing and a stage. It feels like a play. And Ubisoft always feels that way, except in third person. And that's okay in a game like Assassin's Creed because part of that is the historical tourism aspect of it. But in Star Wars, you want that interaction and you want that immersion.
Yeah.
So
it was the thesis of my review, and also one of the reasons why initially I landed so high that it was like so close to the dream Star Wars adventure that if you're like a Star Wars fan, you're getting like a little glimpse of just by a few tweaks true greatness of like what you want out of like open world Star Wars game. But it's like it's just at the veer. It was like veering over here, like getting closer, not quite.
You know the scene in Inside Out before Joy screws over Bing Bong and gets him killed, and they get so close and just miss the cliff and fall. That is this game to a T. Like the where
like
you
that
wanted
movie.
to be is right there, and they just fell short.
I've not seen Inside Out 2 yet.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And if you're not a Star Wars fan, like seeing how wide they missed initially, it's like that's why I remember you just said that for you it was like a 7.5, like playing it, you not being a Star Wars fan. I understand that because I feel like objectively it was like a 7.5 game.
The IP boosted if you like the IP.
Yeah. And I like Star Wars well enough, but like I haven't seen Andor. I didn't watch Ahsoka. Like I watched Mandalorian because it's cool.
I would say Andor, like especially now that Andor is finished, Andor is orgasmic.
I really probably do need to watch it. Speaking of that, everybody says how good it is. I probably need to just bite.
Andor, like the finale,
I'll probably get there.
Like the last few episodes of Andor actually stunned me at their restraint and like the things they did. That I was like, man, so Star Wars can be this good, huh? It could still happen in like in the clutches.
Not only that, but with Kathleen Kennedy still running it at that.
Yes, and Tony Gilroy kind of like went to bat for her. It kind of exposed to me what Kathleen Kennedy is more. She's not a visionary. She's a hey, that sounds cool, let's do this kind of person.
She's the rubber stamper.
The sequel trilogy tells you that.
Exactly. No, literally, she literally, that's why like the sequel trilogy fell apart because it was like they came with the pitches and she was like, that sounds cool, let's do it. Instead of being like a more, we need a solid like creative vision set in place. She was more like, she supported Spielberg for many years. You go look at many Steven Spielberg movies, like especially his classics. She's there as an executive producer. She's always been that kind of like, let me cheer you, I'm gonna like fulfill your vision kind of thing. And
actually, you say that. I was just watching something on TV the other day, and I looked at the info, and she was in there as like an executive producer like that. I'm like, I'm like,
Speaking of
so she hasn't always ruined everything. Then.
No.
speaking of Star Wars, today's George Lucas's birthday, I think.
Yes,
too.
happy birthday, George. 82
Yeah.
years. Or 81, I think. I bet it's
Yeah.
like early 80s. Man, I'm scared for him. Like, I'm scared. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
that's going to be a painful one, Juan. The time comes.
Breaking news here.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Breaking news. Avowed has a roadmap. Avowed just released its roadmap for content.
is that this?
Alex posted that like
Yeah,
like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, well, I don't think I posted the roadmap, but I posted kind of like the updates that are coming, including like the more reactive NPCs that they mentioned.
Remember what I said? Actually, I said 2 hours ago. That was actually when I was at work. So that was actually more like 8 hours ago.
Mhm.
Posted
yeah,
Avoweds? I don't remember you posting
yeah.
Avoweds
Do
anything.
I did.
don't you remember when I said something like it's not difficult to improve upon zero
Yeah, right.
or something like that? That's what
Yes.
that was about.
Mhm.
No, I'm looking through. I don't even see it. Where did you post
Hold
it?
on.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
find
yeah.
it. Here it is.
Yeah,
Here it
find
is.
it for you.
1:57 p.m.
Yep.
He
1:57
But-
p.m.
posted the picture from Clobril. Now,
Yeah.
it was the screen grab of what Clobril said.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that I've just said that guy's name twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
I see. Yeah, I was busy working at that point. I didn't see it. Okay, well, sorry. I didn't mean to scare everyone with breaking news, but
Yeah. Hey, it's that kind of day. Like the Jade Raymond thing broke.
Yeah.
Like before you guys started recording.
This actually has been a busy day. When you look,
Yes.
there's been a lot of news today.
Mm-hmm. And there's even more
Yeah.
headlines,
Yep.
including this episode that I'm
Yes.
excited for.
yeah, we do have more headlines here. So next up on the headlines list is Square Enix has also announced the cancellation of mobile game Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. Hear that? That's the sound of crickets because nobody cares about another Kingdom Hearts mobile game. They did, however, confirm that Kingdom Hearts 4 remains in active development and they're hard at work on it. Plus, some amazing new screenshots were revealed. So
I just gotta
everyone
say it. I just
be
gotta
very
say
happy.
Yeah.
Sora looks really freaking weird.
He
looks
see a meme?
really freaking weird.
Do you see a meme that he's like, why does he look like he's the child of Aerith? Like the face.
I think he still looks like Sora. He's just modern looking Sora.
I don't think he look. Wait, it's going for more of that like Yozora style from Kingdom Hearts 3. But did you see his shoes? His shoes are like blue.
Converse.
Like
They're Converse.
Are
Converse.
they actual Converse shoes?
Yes.
I was like, what is this? Like he's supposed to have like clown shoes on. What's going on?
Mm-hmm. I would say though, in detail, the night and day difference between that and Cage 3 is big. Like in like in that fidelity.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is from like 2020. I sure hope so.
2019, yeah.
19, okay. I could
2019, yeah. 2019, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
But it's like, hey, it's been like 6 years since that. Like, I would expect that at least visually to at least look like an improvement because Cage 3 had that weird. It looks Pixar quality in spots and then like a PS3 remaster in others. It was always kind of like, wait.
I thought 3 looked gorgeous. It just had major gameplay design questionable things.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I love 3 like cut the spells in half, like spells that I'd been using for years, like all these fancy ones, and it's just like, nope, now you get your basic 6 spells or whatever it is, and they're different levels. Like,
well, and then no Final Fantasy characters, which is completely unacceptable. Actually,
I
don't care what excuse Nomura made on that. It's like that was generally the reason a lot of people jumped in the first game in the first place, and they knew that. That was smart decision by Square. Like they knew most people were like, all right, if I'm not a kid, I'm not going to buy a Disney-based game. And they're we'll get you in there because we got Cloud and we got Sephiroth and we got Squall. Joe, Squall.
The funniest thing,
don't you say what you're going to say. It's Squall.
No, the funniest thing for me though, Rick, is I had no affinity for Final Fantasy or Disney, and I love Kingdom Hearts.
Me neither.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is my second favorite game of all time. Like, I love Kingdom Hearts.
I'm with you. I am saying
with no affinity for anything that makes it up. I just like it as its own thing.
I'm saying they used that, and it worked on me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Suckerfish right here. They used it as the lore to get people in. Like, I knew Cloud was in it, and I didn't care. And then my one friend was like, I got this game called Kingdom Hearts. I'm like, yeah, that looks stupid. He goes, I'm fighting this guy called Sephiroth. I was like, wait, I'll be right back. I'm not even joking. When he said Sephiroth, I went out and bought it right then and there.
Wow. All right. Next up, Paradox Interactive has officially unveiled the real title of its Project Caesar, and to absolutely no one's surprise, it's Europa Universalis 5.
So this has like no relevance to me. Like, what is this? Let me see.
That's a Hogue news headline if ever there was one. Right there,
it's a me headline. Excuse me. I love.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, I love Crusader King. So Paradox Interactive is the company behind Crusader Kings, Europa Universalis, Victoria and Hearts of Iron, and they also publish a bunch of things in their publishing division. But Paradox Interactive itself, this is a grand strategy game studio. Basically, you have a giant map of the world,
Mm-hmm.
and you do things to conquer it or develop it. In Crusader Kings, you have Europe and India and like Asia, but not China. They're adding China. In Europe Universalis, you have the whole world actually, and you have the whole world, I think, in Victoria and Hearts of Iron as well. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really about management and sim management, and each of the games has something that makes them unique to one another. So Crusader Kings is very focused on story and family and bloodlines of the
Mm-hmm.
people, whereas Europa Universalis is the fifth one is now adding some of that character level, but it's really focused on the nation and the growth of your country instead of your family dynasty. And I
Mm-hmm.
never played Victoria or Hearts of Iron. I know Hearts of Iron is usually like a World War II simulator, and Victoria is like a Victorian era simulator. Yeah, so this is a headline I picked because I made the document this week. So
Yeah.
I am really excited about this. I put a lot of time into Europa Universalis. I have a playthrough that I started in 1066
Mm-hmm.
in Crusader Kings 2, and you can import your save from Crusader Kings 2 into Europa Universalis 4, and I played from 1066 all the way to like 1840 when Europa Universalis ends,
Uh,
like straight through. So it's really cool. You can play for like 1,000 years, almost 1,000 years, on a single dynasty, a single like track, a single country, all the way through, and that's really fun to do. And I did that,
mm-hmm.
and it's fun. So yeah, that's all I have to say on that one. Keep an eye out for it. It's gonna be great. It looks
For the
cool.
Hoax and Joes of the world that like that kind of game, like you made the document, it was worth talking. Next
Yeah, for
headline.
sure. I mean, these are huge games. Like they sell a lot. Like they're very popular.
Mhm.
But this is, and I know it's not something that you guys are particularly interested in. Rick, do you have any interest in Europa Universalis?
Not even a little bit.
Got
No,
it.
no, not his kind of game. Mine is
All right.
like maybe in a bad day or in a rainy day. Suddenly I see it, like I could install it and play. Maybe I'll try it, but I know myself really
I
well.
well, Alex, I do think that Crusader Kings is sometimes on Game Pass, and it
Hmm.
is like on console these games as well. Crusader Kings 3 is on console,
I
if you
actually
want to try it.
installed Crusader Kings 3 on PC one of those times that you kept talking about it because it was on Game Pass. I was like, I'll install it and
Yeah,
hopefully
it
play it one day when I'm feeling.
this is like that. They're similar to one another. That they're related in that way, but they're not exactly the same. And I always like Crusader Kings more than Europa Universalis. That's why I have like hundreds upon hundreds upon like almost between 2 and 3, like over 1,000 hours in those two
Hmm.
games. So I do like Crusader Kings more than Europa, but Europa is still really great, and it goes for a different feel.
Hmm.
So all right,
Cool.
next up, Microsoft has announced an additional 3% of its global workforce is to be eliminated, but there has been no indication of how much of an impact this will have on Microsoft gaming. But it makes sense. I mean, come on, how else can Microsoft survive? It's not like they can raise their prices on hardware and software, right? Oh, wait. Yeah. I'm really tired of people being laid off in general.
Hmm.
My own company's been through it multiple times since I've worked there. Thank God every day that I've never been victim of it in this company. You
Hmm.
never know. It really sucks. I feel bad for all these people.
Well, it's
And
especially infuriating
From
when it's
Microsoft
being
of all
done
people.
by the company that has enough money to buy the entire moon if they really want to.
Yeah.
yeah, and the company that is doing everything it can to just make people pay more money and then
Hmm.
like, oh, by the way, now we're also letting you go. It's like we didn't raise these prices to keep your jobs. We raised these prices so that we could make more money, and then we're letting you go so we can make even more money.
Hmm.
Even though the price raises are not going to increase their money because no one buys their stuff in the first place.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
That is just a reality
Alex,
in that ecosystem. Is that they've trained people
It's
to not
not
buy
even a
people.
deniable fact anymore.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
not.
Yes.
yeah.
And how do you
Uh,
know? Because they're putting their things in the place where people buy them. What does that tell you? And that's
yeah,
literally
exactly.
like underlined in yellow
Hmm.
highlighter.
Yeah.
So, next
All
one.
right. Next story here. We don't normally talk about the PS Plus Extra and Premium catalog as far as I can recall. Normally we just talk
Hmm.
about the essentials, but this month's actually pretty good. So here are the new games coming to the higher tiers of the service. This is
Hmm.
from VGC. Oh, just buy your games already, people. Anyway. So this month you have Sandland, Soul Hackers 2, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted Full-Time Edition, Battlefield 5, Stalker, Legends of the Zone Trilogy, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising, Humankind, Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life, and Gloomhaven Mercenaries, all coming to the extra tier. And then just one addition to the premium tier, Battle Engine Aquila, I don't know, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So buy your
like,
games, people.
If this was Summon Science, PlayStation Plus Premium would be in that sorted out list, because it's like they jacked the price up for that premium tier, and they've given less and less games there.
Yeah.
So,
Premium has
removed
been
games,
one
too.
of the biggest ripoffs since they introduced it. I don't know how they possibly justify having the premium tier.
yeah,
I mean, I have to say,
It should
like,
just be extra and just make it all together.
I mean, I have premium simply because I bought 10 years of it before they jacked up the price. I just bought a flat decade so that I didn't need to worry about paying for it. It was like $700. Like, if I can shell out the $700 and not ever have to think about it for it's 10 years. It's 10. I bet you by the time I'm expired, it's gonna have jacked up at least 2 more times.
Oh yeah, two more times. I would say 5 based on how everything's going.
Yeah,
it might jack up 2 more times before we finish this podcast.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I would say that there have been a few months that premium has been like okay, especially when they fixed the PS2 emulator, they start putting out more. But the last 2 months have been like very, what are you guys doing now? Like it's like you're really stretching the whole premium of it all of this thing. And I know that for people that have a portal, now that they've been fully featuring the streaming thing, if you're paying for a premium, it actually works really well on the portal. If you like doing that kind of streaming, they gotten better at that. For this list, I've had my eye on Soul Hackers. I've had my eye on Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. I've had my eye on Story of Seasons.
That's the fighting game. Just so that is not. Okay.
I have Relink, which is like the actual. But I was like, when I was at the peak of me liking that Grand Blue Fantasy Relink from last year, I was like, I kind of want more. And then I saw that the fighting game was there. I was like, it's still too expensive. It's like I like this, but I'm gonna wait.
I'll play Rising Versus with you if you want. I have it.
Awesome.
I actually have the.
I liked Relink
pack or whatever too. So
yeah,
Relink was fun. I enjoyed Relink last year.
Relink was a great start to last year. It definitely was a fun start.
It's a pretty great game. It's not like the best game ever, but it was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So this was a good for extra. For a $15 a month, this is a good month. There's a
it's good for extra. Yeah,
definitely for the extra tier. But again, people, buy your games, please, for me.
Yeah, buy them if you're rich. Games. But if you're not rich,
say,
a smart computer.
Listen to the lawyer telling everybody, just drop more money.
Yeah.
No comment. No comment.
All right. Speaking of numbers, let's.
Yes, numbers, Alex. Speaking of numbers, of course. PlayStation and Sony have announced that the PS5 is neck and neck with PS4, trailing the latter by a mere 1.2 million units. Not too shabby when you consider that since launch, we've had COVID, economic stagnation, massive inflation, tens of thousands of layoffs, and threats of tariffs. Good job, Sony.
And Jim Ryan.
And Jim Ryan. And a $500 console that mostly barely made a price cut, and a $700 like Pro console compared to the $300 and $400 like PS4s from like the previous generation.
It's impressive. Like sheer numbers that for the price and the way the economy is just in the toilet, it's impressive for sure.
If only like the rest of Sony felt like worthy of celebration, right, Rick?
As a huge Sony fan, this is very disheartening news, actually.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, with how much Sony has phoned in this generation, this is the one you really wish they would have failed pretty badly. But they have
not so badly they go away.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
I more mean like hey, everything that we did here, we cannot do that again because now who knows? We might have a PS6 where they're like, we can have 2 games all generation and we'll be fine because.
But if they're really great games, that's okay.
It's not okay, but obviously we want them to be great games.
Yes.
Like you don't I'm not saying you need a game every quarter. Like Microsoft went obviously way too far with that. But I mean, what 3 or 4 games here after 5 years is just not acceptable. It's just not.
Yeah, especially for the volume that even compared to PS4, which wasn't as big as PS3 when it came to volume, but it felt like a perfect middle of having enough but not too much, but feeling like an event. Now it feels more like unicorns getting one of their games nowadays. If it wasn't for their second party like deals, like it would be really barren.
And you figure Yote, the sequel to Returnal, I always forget its name.
Yeah, Soros
and Wolverine are the only, I guess, fair games if it actually comes
and
to fruition.
Intergalactic.
Oh, you're right. I don't know why I keep forget about that because that's
That's-
by far the one I'm most interested in. But those are the only
Because
announced
it's the least
games.
interesting of them.
Okay, this podcast is over.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not true. Fair Games is the least interesting of
Yeah.
them, but Intergalactic's not that far behind.
we haven't really seen that to judge. And
That's true.
And
That's true. You're right.
Like
That's
wait
true.
until
Fair Games may be awesome.
If it
I would,
makes it to market.
as good as it looks, I would sacrifice Yute on an altar right now to even get another screenshot of Intergalactic.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, Yota's
All right.
so. Oh yeah, I'll play it when it's out. It's that kind of game for me. Like
No, I'm really excited for Yote. I love Tsushima. That was the second best game of 2020. So because the best game was remake. All right.
Actually, it was Last of Us Part 2, but
Yeah.
but okay.
Yes.
All right. Next up. Oops! It seems NBC Universal may have inadvertently revealed the title of the next Mario movie during its upfront showcase. That's where the TV networks try to convince advertisers to buy ads. For people who don't know,
I actually watched the
Super
upfronts.
Mario World is that title. Alex watches the upfronts. Okay,
Yeah.
That's interesting. I've never watched upfronts, and I love television.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like the E3 of TV, when like the networks kind of like show their next year for like what I'm gonna be watching and how are they gonna sell me on.
Yeah,
their lineup for next year is basically that. So
yeah, so nothing much to say here other than the title of the next movie is seemingly Super Mario World. Checks off, I guess. The Mario movie was fun. I watched it on Netflix like a while after it came out. It was good. I enjoyed it.
It was.
I don't really care about Mario.
Yeah, it was one of the most packed theater experiences that I've had here in El Salvador, and I was like, oh, that many people really love Mario here. That's kind of hard.
Yeah.
And I did.
Are you excited about it, Rick?
I couldn't care less.
Yeah,
I do actually.
Guy.
Well, it's not just that. I had no interest in that movie, but the Sonic movies are generally awesome, and I was
They're on my list. I gotta watch those.
Sonic 3 was legitimately great.
All three of them were legitimately great.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Last headline here. Stellar Blade PC version evidently blocked in 132 countries because Sony refused to learn their lesson and require a PSN login to get a bunch of the costumes that is offered in Stellar Blade. And I don't actually know which one of you wrote this, but it says, I blame Jim Ryan.
Yeah.
Rick blames Jim Ryan.
You should have had to think too hard about who wrote that.
Alex likes to blame Jim Ryan for things too, so you never know.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear who's to blame for everything. Who took the golden parachute before the...
Yeah, is there even a remote question at this point that he did not retire?
Yeah.
He was... Well, I mean, he did, but he was forced into retirement. He didn't choose to. But...
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for headlines for this week. Alex with the Jim Ryan.
What was that all about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're not gonna me put in the glass.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So that brings us to.
I will say, I'm gonna pause you after the first one you say because I have some input on this.
Oh, okay.
All right. That brings us to
those.
2025 May 18 through May 24th releases. First up, Roadcraft comes to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on May 20th.
Time out.
Right.
And I'm hyped for that game because this might surprise a lot of people, but one of the games that I have played by far the most is SnowRunner. Like with the exception
you're a
of maybe,
SnowRunner guy.
I adore SnowRunner. I did not like Expeditions very much, but SnowRunner I put probably 150 hours into that game. I'm terrible at it. I've accomplished nothing. I love that stupid game, and I am hyped as hell for Roadcraft.
All right.
Sweet.
Next up, Sea of Stars, Throes of the Watchmaker.
Is expansion.
Read that.
Yes, the expansion of Sea of Stars comes to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on May 20th. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate comes to PS5 and PS4 on May 20th.
Oh, I'm excited for this one because I think this is the Hades TMNT game.
Yeah, this is the one that was on Switch, I think, already.
Yeah, and mobile, I think. So.
Yeah. The Siege and the Sand Fox comes to PC on May 20th. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, comes to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on May 21st. Game of Thrones King's Road comes to PC, iOS, and Android on May 21st. I'm super curious what that's going to be.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be terribly full of microtransactions, so we'll see.
Surprise.
Yes.
Yeah. Monster Train 2 comes to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC on May 21st. Blades of Fire comes to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on May 22nd. Deliver at All Costs comes to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC on May 22nd. Linked comes linked banners of the Spark comes to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on May 22nd. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown comes to PC on May 22nd. That's a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The tactics game, apparently.
Yeah.
So,
Windward Horizon comes to PC on May 22nd. Zombie Army VR comes to Quest 3, PSVR 2, and PC on May 22nd. Finally, Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny, a remaster of Onimusha 2, comes to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on May 23rd.
that's a big
Everyone
ticket
buy that.
item. Yeah,
Everyone
big...
buy that so that we get Onimusha 3 and we get Onimusha Dawn of Dreams. We need those. Everybody buy Onimusha 2. I'm telling you right now.
On top of the one that's coming next year, which is light reboot, or however they're going to cover like the continuation, basically.
I believe it's a complete reboot. I think they said it does not continue the quadrilogy at all.
Okay.
All right. Well, that brings us...
Too.
Yeah, I've never played Onimusha. I probably won't buy that one, but I hope everyone else does.
You actually might like that. Onimusha's
I might.
fun.
Yeah. We'll see. I'll think about it because I know the first one got remastered in like 2019 too. So that brings us to the close of this episode of the X Button podcast. Thank you, Rick, my co-host, and Alex, my late joining co-host, for joining for this wonderful episode. I know we kept it pretty tight here.
Yeah. And thank you for hosting, because
not a problem.
Today was
like you did a good job. You did a good job, Joe. Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Rick. My very first time hosting something. This was exciting. Rick offered to take it off my shoulders. I said, no, I can do this. I believe in myself. I have to earn my co-host title here. So I appreciate it, but
freeloader. I get to continue freeloading.
One day is gonna be your turn too, Rick.
Rick, what do you got going on? Where can people find you?
Butch4969 on ye old Twitter, Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, you name it. And Fridays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, youtube.com/spreadingthenerd. Me and Clint will be talking about God knows what live. Come join us in the chat, hang out, laugh at my stupidity. We have fortune cookies every episode. So,
hell yeah.
All right, Alex.
A_Duro Segovia on Twitter, A Segovia on Blue Sky, and my written content over at seasongaming.com, where I just started the process for another review that for a game that was listed here. I'm not gonna say which one it is, just for the fun of it. You'll eventually hopefully see it. So, and
is it on there?
Yeah, it is.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
I somehow missed it.
Yes, I made a winky face.
He made a face.
I made a face.
I didn't even see.
And you can also check our weekly reviews of The Last of Us Season 2 HBO show that had a double post for this week because of a random rendering problem. But this was the rare week where me and Rick were like in complete alignment, to his shock.
Yeah.
But you can go listen to that episode where we unloaded.
All right, and
we didn't hold back too much on that. Yeah. That's for sure.
Never should. Never hold back anything. That's my policy. And you can find me at Joseph_LaRussa on Twitter/X. You can find me my writing at Season Gaming's website. I have not written anything in a bit. I'm hoping to do something, as I mentioned earlier, with that Tainted Grail game. That was a new thing. I know I'd never said anything about it before, but I just played that demo and really would like to try and get something out about it because it looks like it deserves some coverage. So that's pretty much it for me at the moment. And I don't have anything else to add. This was a good episode. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you and your time. And press X
to play.
Hasta la vista, baby.